Putting together just these two simple, irrefutable pieces of evidence, that Zimmerman's gun was holstered inside his pants and that it was located behind him, proves the falsity of Zimmerman's story. If Trayvon truly had Zimmerman down on his back, he could not have seen the gun because Zimmerman would have been lying on top of it. Add in a few other facts agreed to by the neighborhood witnesses. It was a very dark night, and it was raining. Many witnesses talked about how visibility was extremely poor in that area, and that unless one stood directly under a townhouse porch light, there was really no light at all. Add that the altercation ended on the grass, which would also obscure even a sideways glance at an object affixed to someone's backside as he was lying on the ground. And yet Trayvon somehow, on that wet, black, low-visibility night, saw through the grassy ground cover, through the bulk of Zimmerman's body, through Zimmerman's shirt, and through his jacket to a matte black gun concealed in a matte black holster clipped inside Zimmerman's waistband. Can anyone possibly believe this story? And if Zimmerman had been punched in the face and fallen backward, as he claims, he would have landed hard onto his back, on that solid metal object holstered inside his pants. Ow! Sounds painful, right? And yet there was no evidence at trial that he had a bruise, an abrasion, a cut, or even redness from the gun pressing into his backside after he supposedly fell on it. Every nick and scrape Zimmerman experienced was carefully cataloged and reviewed at trial. Nothing on his back. Somehow, during the presentation of the evidence at Zimmerman's trial, the prosecution was unaware of the vitally important fact that Zimmerman's gun was holstered on his backside. At various points, both the prosecution and the defense attorneys demonstrated the position of the gun by patting the front of their waistbands, giving the jury the false impression that that's where Zimmerman carried his weapon, in that far more visible location. No one in the courtroom corrected that misperception. The state was in possession of Zimmerman's videotape demonstration for over a year, as well as Zimmerman's gun, holster, and all the information about the dark, rainy night and the grass, which came from their own witnesses. But disturbingly, they failed to put the evidence together, or to use it. With their own neighborhood witnesses, the prosecution could have emphasized how very dark that suburban neighborhood gets at night, connecting it to this issue. They could have asked questions like this. Prosecution: how dark was it that night? Resident: oh, very dark. Prosecution: can you describe it? Resident: once I step off my porch, away from my porch light, I need a flashlight to walk around. Prosecution: and how about the rain? Did that make it easier or harder to see things? Resident: well, of course, harder. It's tough to see through the rain, especially at night. Prosecution, holding up the holster: would you have been able to see this? Resident: on that night? No. Prosecution, putting the holster inside his pants, behind him, then laying down on the floor: how about like this? Would you have been able to see it? Resident: you've got to be kidding. No way. Prosecution: how about the grass? Would it be easy to see a small black item like this with the grass in the area all around me? Resident: the grass would make it harder to see, I'd say. Oh, sure, the defense might start objecting, but the prosecution would have made its point. Lest you think I am being overly dramatic suggesting that the prosecutor put the holster in his pants and lay on the courtroom floor, I'd add the gun, too, if the court would let me. Attorneys for both sides were down on that very floor, or using their own bodies to demonstrate their version of events at many points throughout the trial. But just as the police never required Zimmerman to put all the parts of his story together and truly reenact it, so too the state's attorneys never synthesized the evidence before them, never demonstrated to the jury that the most important life-or-death moment of Zimmerman's story could not be true. And if the point could not be made through a lay, non-expert, witness, like a neighbor, it certainly could have been made later on in the trial, on cross-examination of the defense's expert on fighting, Dennis Root, who was called to say that Zimmerman's story of the altercation all made sense to him and was consistent with the evidence he'd reviewed. With expert witnesses, attorneys are given wider latitude on cross-examination. Expert witnesses are professionals who sign up to testify at trials, and they are paid for their time doing so. Everyone